All right, everyone, it's going to be a very dark winter in Vermont indeed, because our state basically in the winter, you've got a lot of agriculture and stuff, and you get a service sector, but a lot of it is requisite on tourism. Now, we're already looking at a season, keeping in mind that a lot of it is skiing, snowboarding, winter sports, that sort of thing. Not water sports. I don't know what Phil Scott gets up to. I have a feeling that he's a little more vanilla than that. But a lot of it is winter sports related. And we're already looking at a season where fewer people are traveling, if they're even physically able to travel, air flight. You look at flight right now, that's fucked up too. Fewer people are going to come to Vermont to go skiing anyway. Fewer people are going to come and eat the artisanal cheese, build the snowman, take pictures of the icicles, which, for some reason tourists really like to get cold. I don't understand it. Winter sport, basically the perfect winter day is I've already shoveled the snow. I do what I always do, which is shitpost or something, but I've got a mug of hot cider or something, or some hot chocolate. That's all I want. I want to be comfy. That's all I need. The idea of going up a mountain and sliding back down several times, I don't understand why people enjoy it, but it brings a lot of money to Vermont, so keep wasting your time going up and down the mountain over and over again. Anyway, you got a situation where you're going to have to wear a mask while you're skiing and stuff. So you're breathing heavy, it's cold outside, condensation is a thing, by the way, especially for us glasses wearers. Phil Scott wants you to suffer, basically. But if you can get past that and you're like, well, yeah, I'm going to be suffering the whole time, but snowboarding's still pretty great, man. Phil Scott wants only 50% as many people to be up on the slopes at one time. They have to stagger everything. I'm sorry, but if I own a ski resort and I'm operating a lift, gondola, whatever, I can only operate at 50% capacity. If I've got a restaurant up on Killington that normally makes millions of fucking dollars in a winter and pays most of it back out in taxes and expenses, trust me, by the way, but I'm able to make half as much money, here are my options. I can fire half of my workers, I can shut half of my operations down, or I can close up for the season, or I can just fucking sell, and I can fucking goddamn move out of the state of Vermont to a place that understands how small businesses actually operate. Phil Scott is a goddamn maniac. The fact that he got reelected once again, as with his last election against Sue Minter, was because his opponent was a complete moron. That's the only reason he's still our governor. If we had someone sane to primary him from within the GOP, or even an independent candidate, they'd beat the tar out of him. He'd be completely gone. Somebody with balls and some degree of verbal intelligence needs to run against idiot Phil Scott. Somebody who has a little bit more grassroots support. Phil Scott, basically, he's the standard Vermont Republican, which is to say, he just thinks you should be able to own a hunting rifle. It's basically just a Democrat anyway. And he's an idiot. Apparently, the state of Vermont is content to see every aspect of Vermont that actually is Vermont-y completely disappear. Ski resorts will disappear. The small business restaurant industry will be crippled. We're looking at the most bleak economic situation in our state since the Great Depression already. And now we've got potentially an idiot president incoming who wants to start a literal Great Depression with a 3-month general lockdown. That'll be really fun now, won't it? He already intends to try to force Phil Scott, who apparently voted for the bastard, to pass a mask mandate as opposed to a mild suggestion. Because he's such a cuck, he realizes people just ignore him anyway. It's idiocy. You can go to Walmart and get whatever you want, but Ma and Pa store, they're going where pastures are greener. They're going to go to Texas or the Dakotas or something. They're going to go to a state where the state government comprehends economics. You're going to end up seeing basically over the next few years, regardless of what happens, by the way, in this shitty election, you're going to see two Americas emerge. You're going to see the locked down, atrocious, constitution-hating one, and then all of the relevant people, all of the people with any means that have latitude to move, they're going to leave. They're going to go to the other states. Some of those states will flip blue as a result of that, leaving withered economies behind, which will either result in a far-left welfare state, Detroit style, or even a resurgence of right-wing populistic sentiment. The political situation in the United States right now is all sorts of bonkers. From top to bottom, every aspect of it is nuts. And the state of Vermont is run by people who don't understand how the state economy works. I think I've isolated our problem as a state about why people move out the second they graduate. Here's what happens in Vermont. For all of you from other states. Kid is born in Vermont. For 18 years, at great expense, the taxpayers educate them. Sometimes they go to one of our in-state schools, but more often they find that because our in-state schools are so expensive, it's better to just go elsewhere. They go somewhere, they pay a bunch of Vermont subsidies and grant money to another state, and then they leave until they retire. Usually early because they get a really good education. They're all qualified. They're going to go work on an oil rig. They start a business down in Texas. They do anything under the sun, but they don't do it in Vermont. Farmers are dying off one by one. Our restaurants are dying off, and now they're even going... The skiing industry is like the pinnacle of Vermont economics. Basically, Killington and Pico and all this shit, and you want to kill that off too. If I'm running one of these resorts at this point, I'm saying, look, the state's going to have to throw a bunch of taxpayer money at me to justify doing this, because otherwise it's literally not even possible for me to keep the lights on. I won't even open the resort. I'll just let it fall into disrepair or sell it. I'd be selling. Right now, I'd be shorting Vermont. If I were an investor, if I had a business or something, I'd be looking for someone to buy it. And I probably wouldn't get fair market value, because who the fuck is going to buy into a state that has such an antagonistic attitude towards its own people? Oh, we need more tax money. Yeah, we're not going to give it to the businesses that we're simultaneously killing. Who cares if the unemployment rate skyrockets? Who cares if everyone's chronically underpaid? Who cares if we keep frittering away money on more bike paths up in Burlington or a fucking bridge? Who gives a fucking shit? After all, our economy's wrecked anyway. Who cares? That's about all. Peace out.